serve as a reminder for our accomplishments and progress. They demonstrate your commitment and passion, inspire and motivate you to continue for success.
The first one is celebrating the second Berman Tournament, and we're going to do that in a second. And after that, we'll introduce the third Berman Tournament, and we'll have hopefully an interesting conversation. First, let me wish you, as I have been thoroughly briefed, a Radhi, I hope I'm saying it properly, and very happy Holi to all of you. We had, believe it or not, we had the pleasure of attending a few ceremonies over the past few days, and we're looking forward to attending tomorrow as well. And so we've had an extremely interesting performance, colorful as it may be. I'll be very brief here. I just want to cover with you three slides which describes the second Berman Tournament. The first thing is to see that the performance of all the participants, so about 250 on the horizontal axis, and the left axis shows the variance, the actual forecasting ability. And it's sort of an S-shaped curve. By that I mean that the left side of the curve shows, I'll show it in person. On this side of the curve, you have people that had, shall we say, different perception as to how the markets would mature, develop relative to reality. To hand over this check to your benefit. So congratulations on the work. Let's give him and you receive also the tournament trophy. Will you hold it? Let's start reading this afternoon, right? Of course. Congratulations, very well done. And you also have the Sapphire Winner Trophy, which is very, are you managing? Yeah, it's heavy. And you get the book from Red Diamond, Changing World Order, which I hope you will enjoy so much. Congratulations on the superb performance. Congratulations very much.
Please from 12 hours, session 23-24.
Big round of applause, please, for the winner. Hand over to you. And we have the Diamond Winner Trophy, which is heavy. You hold it. Okay, all right. And you also get the book, which I hope you will enjoy. A big round of applause for the Diamond Winner. Congratulations on the performance, and I'm delighted to hand over this check to your personal benefit. Thanks on performance. And you get the trophy with silver, and he also, I'll hold it to you, it'll be easier, the book, which will allow you to perform even better. Let's go home, let's over. All right, so the winner, the gold winner is, I can't really read it, sorry. Kartiki Gar. Here you go. It is my pleasure to hand over to you this check on your for your personal behalf. Congratulations on a spectacular performance. And this is the trophy for the gold winner, which you brought. So congratulations again. And I hold this for you, and your goal. And we have a big round of applause for the gold winner of the second Berman Tournament. So well in the second Berman Tournament. Very well. The performance also of the school's leadership and academia, and namely the chairman, Dr. Mukul Pandya, who's been helping us all along, Director Deepika Tyagi, who's been deeply involved, as obviously you can imagine, in this whole process, along with Colonel Apurva Tyagi, who's been also instrumental in making all this happen. Principal Rubina Kanam, who's been helping us greatly, and I want to again to express my heartfelt thanks, and also a word for the two professors, Rohit Bansal and Sunil Kothari, who have been talking with me regularly to prepare for this event and to run through the whole process. So heartfelt thanks, and again, we're absolutely delighted to see that the school is doing so well. Let me move forward, and as I said, and get into, I'll skip the performance of our group and my credentials. You've heard them enough in the past. Let's move into the core. At the very top of the list of issues, there's the question of investments, since this is what we're going to talk about. And people have been investing for centuries, mostly to begin with in farmland and in trade. And then in the 19th century, with the Industrial Revolution, in the 19th century, when the Industrial Revolution occurred, people started investing into industrials. And then technology came about, and you follow the world we're in now. The key point is they expect something in return. They expect a return. Conceptually, one has to understand why one has a return on investment. And the reason why you get a return on your investment is because you are implicitly or explicitly incurring a risk. The risk is the possibility that when you invest 100 rupees, at the end of the day, whenever that day comes, maybe you're not going to recover the 100 rupees. Maybe you will only have 90 or 80 or 50 or no rupees at all. That is what Marxists could never understand, is that there is no such thing as a risk-free investment. And in fact, in the theory of modern finance, we actually talk about risk-free rates. But the risk-free rates are government bonds, i.e. the fact that government are taking your money against a piece of paper, and we believe that because there are governments, they will always return your money. That's the reason why we call it in finance risk-free investment, risk-free rates. The reality, as we saw many times, is that even governments can default. And so, literally, there are no such thing as a risk-free investment. The jargon goes, no risk, no return. And that is something which I encourage you to absolutely keep in the back of your mind today and in the years ahead when you become, for whatever reason, you need to put some money to work, to invest, to save whatever position you'll be in. There is no return when there are no risks. The risk can be small, can be medium, can be large, but there is always, always a risk. Too much detail. The first major type of risk is business risk. I'm going to invest in a company, very simply put, will that company remain in business, stay in business, or will it default, as it happens so often? The second type of risk is volatility, which is a word which means change, difference. And here, by that we mean, since you looked, or you will look hopefully at the indices in the third Berman Tournament, when you look at prices of stock, so the prices of corporations, they go up and they go down. That's what we call volatility, is that change. There is no certainty there. And no matter how large corporations can be, corporation stocks go up and they go down. And you're probably familiar with a electric manufacturer, car manufacturer, Tesla. Tesla was going up and down, and over the past few months it went down 50%. Even though it was an enormous corporation and apparently very successful. 6 months ago, very few people on Wall Street would have expected that to happen, and yet it did. Thirdly, inflation risk. And this is something which for many years was modest for different reasons we may discuss in a while. Inflation risk is particularly important for fixed income securities. Fixed income securities are bonds, debt, which you buy, and that deliver a fixed rate of return. Usually very familiar with it happens a lot with governments, but also corporation issue those. So you're going to lend 100 rupee to a company, and that company will, over the next 5 years, whatever the number, the duration, will pay you back 5 rupees every year. That's a fixed amount. But the 5 rupees you're going to get next year, in 2 years, in 3 years, will have less purchasing power than the 5 rupees you have today. That's the impact of inflation. We'll come back to that. The next risk, which is important, is interest rate risk. Companies are financed with 2 main instruments. Equity, which is the risk of capital, and debt. So if I want to go into business with the gold winner, and we decide to launch a business together, and each of us invest 50 rupees, we're going to have equity of 100 rupees. And if we then go together to a bank and ask for an additional 30 rupees of loan, then we have a total capital of 130 rupees. The bank only risk is the 30 rupees it lent us. My new partner and I risk will be the totality of the equity. The risk of the equity owners are usually much greater than that of the bondholders. By the same token, their expectation of return can be a lot greater. Higher risk, higher return, supposedly. Lower risk, lower return. Liquidity risk. So this has to do with the notion of if I buy a stock or a bond on the market and in 3 months or 3 years I want to sell it, will I actually find a buyer for that security? Security is a jargon that means paper, a bond or equity, to make it simple. Will there be a buyer? The higher the liquidity of a particular stock or bond, the better it is for the investors because you have high chances of selling or being able to sell that security when the time comes. And then lastly, credit risk. When I make a loan to a third party, what are the chances that this third party will actually pay me back? So these are the most important risks. The risks are, as I said, absolutely inherent to any business activity whatsoever. There is no business activity that doesn't carry some level of risk. Low, medium, high, today, next year, in 10 years, whatever it is, whatever the scope, there's always risk. But despite that, I just want to share with you some of these gentlemen have built huge empires facing tremendous risks at their time, be it in oil or creating steel companies, building the electrical infrastructure, building cars at the beginning of the 20th century, creating huge distribution of groceries, obviously Apple, which I'm proud to have a copy here, and then lately modern distribution through Amazon. These businesses all had huge risks, and the owners, the investors, incurred tremendous risks at the beginning. I want to cover one or two. Is there a question? I want to cover one or two topics in particular. One which is inflation. So inflation is the return from 10% to 20%. I'm going to get twice as many rupees. 4 times. I have 4 times. Who thinks it's going to be more than 4 times? 5 times. I have 5. Who's bidding more? Do I have 6? As the auctioneers, sir, what do you think it is? 6. I have 6. So let's look. In other words, 78 times more than at 10%. If I double the rate from 10% to 20%, I get 78 times more return.
Myself Karthikegar. ये जो अवार्ड था ये मेरे लिए एक बहुत प्रीसियस अवार्ड था और ये अपॉर्चुनिटी मुझे नहीं मिलती अगर मैं कर्नल ब्राइडल का एक हिस्सा नहीं होता. ये जो मुझे अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली है वो अपने स्कूल की वजह से मिली है. एज इफ बिफोर दैट मुझे कोई फाइनेंस के बारे में कोई भी रिलेटेड जो इन्फॉर्मेशन थी वो नहीं थी. बट जैसे मैंने 11th में स्कूल में एडमिशन लिया उसके बाद जो है मेरे को इस बारे में पता चला कि बर्मन टूर्नामेंट नाम का एक प्रोग्राम होता है जिसके तहत आई कैन विन समथिंग एंड ऐसी चीज़ें होती है. ये सारे पैरामीटर्स के ऊपर हमको जो डिफरेंट पैरामीटर्स होते हैं उनके ऊपर हमें जवाब देना होता है एंड उसके रिलेटेड हमें कुछ प्राइज़ मिलते हैं. इनिशियली इतना इंटरेस्ट नहीं आया बट जैसे जैसे टीचर्स ने मुझे हेल्प किया एक्सप्लेन करने में सब चीज़ों में जैसे जैसे मेरे डाउट्स थे वो सारे सॉल्व हुए थे रिलेटेड टू फाइनेंस. वो मुझे बहुत हेल्प किया इस चीज़ को अचीव करने में. ये जो धनराशि आई कैन हेल्प इट जो मैं कॉलेज आएंगे उनके फीचर्स ये जो सैलरी जो भी सारी वो होंगी फर्स्ट ईयर की फ़ीस एंड ऑल उस सब में मुझे हेल्प करेंगी.
अर्जुन सिंह. सर इसके लिए मैंने पढ़ाई की थी और अपने दोस्तों से सर से ब्राइटलिन स्कूल से सबसे हेल्प ली थी मैंने और ऐसे अवार्ड मिला मेरे को ये दोस्तों से और सर से सबसे अच्छे से कम्युनिकेशन किया फिर अवार्ड मिला. ये खुशी तो है सर अच्छा सेकंड यही कहना चाहूँगा सर सबको, मेरे जितने भी जूनियर हैं सब अवार्ड ले। मैं भी चाहता हूँ मेरे को सेकंड आए, मैं चाहता हूँ सब फर्स्ट आए, सेकंड आए अच्छे नंबरों से वो मिले। पेरेंट्स को दे दो।
मेरा नाम है प्रिंस राठौर। सर अच्छा लग रहा है सर, अवार्ड सर अच्छा लग रहा है अवार्ड लेके। और ये जो हमारे स्कूल में है ये सेकंड बार हो रहा है, तो ये मेरा थर्ड प्राइज़ है। और इसमें हार्ड वर्क भी थोड़ा सा लगा था, क्योंकि रिसर्च करनी पड़ी थी इसके लिए, निफ्टी 50 की और सेंडेक्स की बहुत सारे रिसर्च करी थी। और ये मेरा थर्ड प्राइज़ है।
Is that a song for the broken-hearted? The silent prayer for the faint-hearted. I'm gonna be just a face in the crowd. You're gonna hear my voice when I shout it out loud. It's my life, it's now or never. I'm gonna live forever. I just wanna live while I am alive. It's my life. How to find you open-minded. My friend is when I live it my way. I just wanna live while I am alive. It's my life. For the ones who stood their ground. It's for Tommy and Gina who's never breaking down. Tomorrow's getting harder, make no mistake. Gotta get enough to talk and make your own way. It's my life, it's now or never. I'm gonna live forever. I just wanna live while I'm alive. It's my life, how to make it open-minded. My daddy said I did it my way. I just wanna live while I'm alive. It's my life. You better stand tall when they're calling you out. Don't bend, don't break, baby, don't break down. It's my life, it's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever. I just wanna live while I'm alive. It's my life. I'm gonna take it open-minded. Not anything I did it my way. I just wanna live while I'm alive. It's my life. I'm gonna take it open-minded. Not anything I did it my way. I just wanna live while I'm alive. It's my life.
Hi. The purpose of these tournaments is to provide students with preliminary understanding of the world of finance, as we called it, because at one point in their career, either professionally or for their own personal or their family's benefit, they will have to make financial decisions one way or the other. And so, as I said at the end of the presentation, it's easier for them to learn now. There is no risk, there is no downside. It's hopefully a fun exercise which they can all share and think about together in a good mindset, and they get compensated with these prizes and books, and they have an informal way of discussing these matters. Things will change for those that will get into the business itself a few years down the road. Things will become possibly a lot more complicated and risky as well. So that's the reason why we always use this George Patton's motto, the more you train, the less you bleed in combat. And so I hope these students will benefit from it. They will always learn something for their personal and professional endeavor in the future. That's the reason for these Berman tournaments.
ये जो कार्यक्रम है ये मिस्टर थियरी बर्मन जो एक बहुत बड़े इन्वेस्टर हैं, रियल एस्टेट में और फाइनेंशियल मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं। इन्होंने हमारे स्कूल के बच्चों को फाइनेंस की दुनिया से रूबरू कराने के इच्छा से ये टूर्नामेंट शुरू किया है, और उनका मकसद ये है कि इस समय जब बच्चे ये सीखेंगे जो अभी 16, 17, 18 साल के हैं, यदि ये अभी बिना रिस्क के, क्योंकि अभी ये कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं कर रहे हैं, पैसे नहीं लगा रहे हैं, एक सिर्फ टूर्नामेंट के थ्रू ये सीख रहे हैं कि आगे की दुनिया में, फाइनेंस की दुनिया में क्या क्या हो सकता है, तो रिस्क नहीं होने के बावजूद बहुत कुछ उनको सीखने को मिलेगा। और ये जो शिक्षा वो अभी स्कूल में लास्ट के 2-3 सालों में ग्रहण करेंगे, उससे उनको अपनी पर्सनल लाइफ में, हम लोग सब कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ इन्वेस्ट करते हैं ताकि हम अपने पैसों को बढ़ा सकें, तो उस ग्रोथ को और वाइजली इन्वेस्टमेंट करके अपनी या अपने प्रोफेशन के थ्रू या अपनी पर्सनल वेल्थ के लिए उस लर्निंग को जो है यूज़ कर पाएंगे। तो उस मकसद से शुरू किया हुआ ये टूर्नामेंट है, और हमारे बच्चे से बहुत एंथुसियाज्म के साथ पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं, और बहुत कुछ सीखने को ना सिर्फ हमारे बच्चों को मिल रहा है बल्कि हम सबको यहाँ पे बहुत कुछ उनके द्वारा सीखने को मिल रहा है।
ये बर्मन टूर्नामेंट सेकंड बर्मन टूर्नामेंट था, और ये एनुअल टूर्नामेंट है जो कि हर साल होगा। इसमें बच्चों को अपनी स्टॉक मार्केट की इंडेक्स एस्टिमेट करनी होती है, और बच्चों ने बहुत अच्छा एस्टिमेट किया, और हमारे करीब 10 लाख मतलब 10 लाख के प्राइजेज़ बच्चों को दिए गए हैं, तो जो कि एक अपने आप में बड़ी बात है। बच्चों ने सही एस्टिमेट लगाया, निफ्टी को लेकर और सेंसेक्स, ये सब में उन्होंने अपना एस्टिमेट दिया, और उन्होंने प्राइजेज़ जीते, कैश प्राइज़ जीते। आज सेकंड बर्मन टूर्नामेंट बनाया गया हमारे स्कूल में। ये हर साल होगा, एनुअल टूर्नामेंट है। इसमें बच्चों को स्टॉक मार्केट की इंडेक्स बतानी होती है, जो कि बच्चों ने बिल्कुल सही तरीके से एस्टिमेट किया, 10 बच्चों ने, और उनको प्राइज़ मतलब जो बिल्कुल क्लोज थे उनको प्राइजेज़ मिले, और इसमें 10 लाख के कैश प्राइजेज़ दिए गए बच्चों को। और बच्चों ने स्टॉक मार्केट को, कमोडिटीज़ को लेकर, गोल्ड है, सिल्वर है, इसको लेकर अपनी वैल्यूज़ बताई, और क्लोज होने पर उनको प्राइजेज़, कैश प्राइज़ दिए गए।
एक किसी शायर का शेर है कि हम तो देखते रहे बागो बहार, चिड़िया और बुलबुल, हमने अपने बटुए की तरफ कभी देखा ही नहीं। जब हम पे मुफलिसी छाई, हमने एहसास किया हमने कुछ पाया ही नहीं। तो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट ज़िंदगी का जो है वो फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट है। आप किस तरह से पैसा कमाते हो, किस तरह से उसको संभाल के रखते हो, किस तरह से उसको खर्च करते हो। तो एक इस टूर्नामेंट के माध्यम से मिस्टर बर्मन जो हैं वो ये संदेश बच्चों में देना चाहते हैं कि किस तरह से अपने फाइनेंसेस को मैनेज करें, किस तरह से फाइनेंस के ऊपर फोकस करें, और कैसे आगे चलकर एक बहुत ही शानदार और वैभवमय ज़िंदगी जी सकें। हम इसके लिए मिस्टर बर्मान और मिसेस लॉरेंस बर्मान के बहुत बहुत शुक्रगुजार हैं कि वो इंग्लैंड से यहाँ आते हैं, 10 लाख रुपए के प्राइज़ बच्चों में बांट के जाते हैं, बच्चों को वो प्राइज़ मिलता है तो बच्चे उससे अपने भविष्य बनाने में कामयाब होते हैं, अपने स्टडीज़ के लिए और अपनी ज़रूरतों के लिए उन पैसों का इस्तेमाल करते हैं। मैं इसके लिए उनका तहे दिल से बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ। थैंक यू।
Thank you. I'm extremely happy to be involved with the school. I think it opens the mind of the students in their last 2 years into the world of economics, of banking, of finance. I think it adds on to their ongoing education at the school, and it's a tremendous honor for my husband, my son and I to have initiated that 2 years ago and to keep going for the long term. And after my husband and I, our son will take the torch, and we wish the tournament a long life.